In this video help, I'm going to be covering the Bank Account Manager Pro 13 and the bank account screen. There are different screens on this application. Basically, there's the main screen or the bank account screen, and then there's the annual budget screen. And there are some reports and some other smaller screens that are listed over here. By taking this video help, you're learning how to use this particular screen. Let's go ahead and start. On this screen, there's your bank name, and basically what you do is fill out the first thing first, which is your bank account name for the first record here. Now, when you come into a new record or you come into a blank record where you need to add the first new record, you're going to have to use the new button up here to initiate the first record in the system. So you would end up with account ID number 1, which also shows over here. Now, you can have as many bank accounts as you want. Now, if you have a travel expense account and you have another different kind of account like a home loan, and you have another one that's a line of credit, or you just regular banking, and then you also have a charge card that you want to track. Now, this is a digital checking system. Basically, what it does is between each one of these different accounts up here, you can go ahead and change the account by clicking on the plus button at the end of the row. And as you'll notice here, what it's going to do is it's going to empty out the information on the second account, which is sample bank account number 2. Now, when you're first starting this application and doing your own information, you'll replace sample bank account up here with your own bank account. And each time you add a new bank account with a new record, you will end up by putting a new account up here by its name. For example, like your line of credit, and another one could be your credit card or whatever. And what it does is it allows you to differentiate between the accounts and manage them separately. Another way is if you had a savings account and you wanted to track the savings deposits and stuff like that. It would be for the bank with the bank information and so forth. Let's go back to the first account because it does have data in here. We're going to look at that. As you can see, we have the bank address, the city it's in, the email for the bank, the telephone number for the bank, its state or province, zip code, or postal, and its website. And the website typically is the one where you're going to be doing your banking account online. Next, if you click the edit up here, you're going to see where you have a login, and the login would be the login you use in order to get into your bank account. You also have bank hours and notes about the bank if you need to put them in there. Now on the login, because this application is supposed to be secure on your device, you want to make sure that this is always showing this information so people can't look over your shoulder and see your login. In addition to that, if you have notes and you want to keep notes and comments about your bank account as a general note, you would put it in here. There is information about the application itself and the restrictions, if any, as far as the license is concerned. Clicking the center one will bring up the main bank account screen. And then this last one, depending upon the country you're in, this is the English version of the field names throughout the application. You could turn around and click in here and retype them, and it'll change whatever name that is corresponding to it on this side. So you could put it in your own language if you want to, which is the standard localized, not English, but whatever your language would be. And that is explained up here. Okay, let's go back to the bank account. The next thing I want to point out is the day the bank account was opened, and you do not edit this or this number up here. Those are automatically added by the computer, so you wouldn't mess with those. The same thing goes when you click on something in this area. You can see that it is not live. That information is derived from here or here. Now, if you're doing a find where you want to find a certain bank account or something about the these information up here as far as the sample bank account, realize that you cannot search in a portal, which this is a portal and this is a portal. Because it has multiple records in a single entity, you cannot actually search on that. And the same thing goes on the UDFs, or user-defined fields, over on this side, which we're going to discuss in a minute. The individual information that's here is just to identify the account you want to switch to. And of course, this is the actual information for that particular bank account. Let's go down to the bottom here, and you'll see that it has Account Portal List View. The Account Portal List View is a opening of any of the active fields as far as the row that are in here for a row within the particular account portal. The reason we use the account portal is that you can search in the list view of the portal. You can search on any of these fields to find a specific record. And the same goes if you have a portal record on where if you go to the main portal screen, the individual record, you can do finds in those particular screens. The last modified is if you modify this portal, it's going to change the last time that this was modified as the last date that something was done. Another thing about the portal, which is interesting, is that when you add a date from the drop-down calendar, it will reorder the rows based on the date being the newest date at the top, the older ones going down the screen. So you can see the last things that are installed. The next thing is the paid to. The paid to is what you would put in here would be whatever it is that you're either sending a check to, or if you paid something in cash that was out of your bank account where you withdrew money for it to do that, you would put it in there. But basically this is a pay to, like an expense, and then it's whatever you paid for. Was it an electric bill, water bill, whatever. There's also a paid amount. Now if this were a deposit, then this would be paid to the bank for deposit on date such and such, which is the date. Then you would have the amount in this field for the deposit. This is an expense, this is a credit. So obviously a credit is where you're receiving money to your account, and the paid out is an expense where the money is going out. There are categories. Now categories is a long list that you can edit, and what those are individual types of things that you want to track each expense record or deposit by what it is. For example, if you wanted to look at all the sewer bills or all the home repairs, you could actually go into the record by clicking on this button at the end of the row, and it would take you to the portal record for that row. Once you're in there, you can do, in the portal, you can do a search for all, say for example, all the times that you fueled your car, and it'll bring up just those records so you can cycle through them and see where you spent the money as far as fuel is concerned. This is also a underline with an underline on it on the title of a field. That will open up what is called the category area, category list. And what you basically do here is you can add new records by clicking new and typing in a new category. So you can edit your own categories and add as many as you want in the category screen. These categories are also used, the same listing, for the budget screen, where you want to take and use a list view or the list of items in the budget view as well. You can either go back to the bank account or you can go to the budget screen, either way. This one's going to take you to the list view, so you can pick which list of accounts you want to go to as far as the budget is concerned. And it could be for the it's by year and then by the kind, like business or home or personal. So let's go back to the bank. We're going to go to the bank, and in the bank, as you add data to these rows, you're going to automatically get a sum of a debit, which is an expense, or a sum of a credit, which is a deposit, and then it's going to go ahead and do the balance so you can see what your cash flow looks like as far as your actual amount of ending balance. Now with this, I want to point out that when you start a new account, for example, let's go back and say on the 23rd was the day that we started all the transactions instead of the 29th. What we're going to do is we're going to say initial deposit. Now with initial deposit, what we're going to say is it's pending balance, which the pending balance is what you currently have in your bank. And what you're going to do is you're going to start out by saying, this is what I actually have in my bank account, and I've got $1,300 in there. And you'll notice it'll show the sum of the credit, and then it'll show you the balance of whatever is left in your bank account. And then you can go ahead over here and you can say withdrawal or credit or pending, and in this case past due or other. I'm going to say deposit, and that way I know what it is. And then in the category, I could go ahead and put in there whatever it is. Now I do not have a thing in here that says initial balance or current bank balance or anything like that. I could add that by clicking category and go ahead and put it there. Oh, actually I do have deposit, so we're just going to put in deposit. and that way I know that the category all are deposits. Okay. Now, once a bank transaction statement is out, either on the website or a paper version, you go down through these, and if this is cleared, you would go ahead and click the cleared, and that would show you in your accounting reports that this transaction has been verified on the statement. You can also do this to go to the portal for that record. Now, what I did is I added this, which is a pop-up, and it allows you to put line notes in here in this popover as required. A popover is just a little pop-up screen where you can click into it and start editing. So if you wanted to make a comment about any line on here, you could use the popover. Now, to remove a line off the record, you would go ahead and click this red X box, and what that would do is it would remove that line and also its portal record for that particular line transaction. To see the actual transaction in the portal, click this button, and what it would do is it bring you into this screen, and you can see here's the transaction for that particular line. And if you wanted to go back to the main screen, go ahead and click this plus button over in the corner, and that'll take you back. You can also delete this in here if you had to by clicking the red X button. The date entry and paid to and all this information would be filled in on the main record and cleared yes, no, and so forth. So that all would be done on the main screen, and then it would fill in over here. So let's go ahead and click this to come back. The UDF, let's discuss the UDF fields. UDF fields are user-defined fields where if you have something that you want to track as far as the individual accounts you're in, say it's this one we're in now, you could put a comment in there, which would be the line title for the actual comment, then the comment itself, the input comment down here in the yellow field. You can put as many of these as you want to for this particular account. Now, these could be things like, say a late fee was charged on such and such date, and you want to say late fee. So I could put in late fee as a note so I know that there was a late fee, and I could put the late fee in there and the information about it, a short little thing about it as far as the date and the transaction, so I could track on that. Now, you don't delete these. Basically, they're just running notes that you can go back to and refer on a certain date or whatever what that transaction was or some comment you had about it. And you'll see that as you add a new line, it also adds the next line, so you can continue as far as you want, and then you can scroll through them at a later time. Okay, if you have any questions about how this screen works, best to go ahead and go to the support area and look for a way to comment or to send an email or get on Skype with me so I can walk you through it. As far as using the annual budget, you would click this button to change screens to go to the annual budget. And then there's an account portal, which is the account portal screen. Now, there are additional screens that you can navigate to from within the two different main screens, which is the bank account screen and the annual budget screen. Those are list views, and they are also, for example, if I go to the annual budget, I'm actually going to go to a list view so I can see which budgets are out there and pick the one by clicking for that row to go to it. Okay, if you have any questions, please get in contact with me on the support site. Thank you.